Good morning. This is Cherise and Sean reporting for Chapter 5, IT Infrastructure and Emerging Technologies, Part 1. So for the table of contents, we have IT infrastructure, infrastructure components, contemporary hardware platforms, trends, platform trend, and contemporary software platforms and management issues. So the lessons objectives are to identify what is IT infrastructure and what are its components, to know the different stages and technology drivers of IT infrastructure evolution, to learn about the current trends of in computer hardware platforms and software platforms, and to identify the challenges of managing IT infrastructure and solution. So to yeah, so to start off, um, let's define what is IT infrastructure. So as you can see in figure 5-1, this is um, this is an illustration where we can see the correlation of IT infrastructure to the business itself and to the outcome that we are aspiring for, and how we can give a good satisfaction services to our customers, to our suppliers, and to the business itself, to the whole enterprise itself. So, dito in-illustrate dito na ang business is composed siya ng business strategy, IT strategy, and the information technology itself, the technology, which is the IT, the software and the hardware. And then all of these three are um, are related to the IT services and infrastructures in order for it to function well. Para magkaroon siya ng mas firm na foundation, para mas maging siyang functionable and mas stable siya. So with this infrastructure, it could give a good customer service, good supplier services, and as well as good enterprise services. So what is IT infrastructure? IT infrastructure is a shared technology resources that provide the platform for the firm's specific information system applications. These are investments for hardware, software, and services. Yung services, yun yung mga consulting, yung mga consultations, education, trainings na kinakandak natin sa ating institution or sa ating company in order for us to have a good set of employees na mag-function um, sa ating industry or sa ating business. So IT infrastructure consists of set of physical devices and software applications that are required to operate the entire enterprise. It is also a set of firm-wide services budgeted by management and complied both by human and technical capabilities. So the following are services uh, na kinikater ni IT infrastructure. So computing platforms, yan yung mga devices na ginagamit natin, mga hardwares, yung mga PC, ganyan. Mainframes dati pa yon yung mga mga um, sinaunang mga computers yon. But now it's personal computers, laptops, mga ganyan. Telecommunication services, yan naman yung mga telephones, mga mobile landlines natin, and then likewise with network providers. Then data management services, yan yung mga nagma-manage ng servers natin, ng mga ng master data natin sa system, yan yung mga SAP, ganyan, Oracle, yan yon. Software services that provide enterprise-wide capabilities, physical facilities management services, ito naman yung nag-manage ng mismong facilities natin, yung mismong business structures natin. And then IT management services, IT standard services, IT education services, and IT research and development services. Next is IT infrastructure's evolution. So, in this illustration, um, it shows the typical computing configurations characterizing each of the five eras of IT infrastructure. So, ito, sinamarize niya na kung ano yung mga yung chronological order, kung paano tayo nag-arrive sa kung ano yung meron tayo ngayon. So, meron tayo, nag-umpisa tayo sa mainframe, yan, yung mga ganyan. Then, personal computers, and then client server, yan na yung gumagamit na tayo ng server. And then, enterprise computing, yan na yun, yung nagba-branch out siya to different to different computers, to different areas, and then we finally come to the cloud and mobile computing, which is hindi lang siya limited sa computers, hindi lang siya limited sa internet, but also it could be transmitted as well with mobile phones. Yan, yung mga cellphones natin. Yan. For the evolution of IT infrastructure, we'll be discussing the first era, which is the general purpose mainframe. Yan. And mini computer era, which started from 1959 to present. So in 1959, it is the beginning of widespread commercial use of mainframe computers. So in 1965, mainframe computer was introduced by IBM 360. So si IBM, sila yung pioneer endorser or pioneer na naglabas ng ng model, or sila yung naglabas ng first model ng mainframe computers. Pero na-establish na siya noong 1959. Sila lang yung parang nag-patent. And then, IBM 360 series was the first commercial computer with a powerful operating system that could provide time sharing, multitasking, and virtual memory in more advanced models, which gives them domination in mainframe computing services. Mainframe computers become powerful enough to support thousands of online remote terminals connected to the central mainframe using proprietary communication protocols and proprietary data lines. So the mainframe era was a period of highly centralized computing under the control of professional programmers and system operators, with the most elements of infrastructure provided by a single vendor, the manufacturer of the hardware and the software. So in short, ang purpose lang nitong itong mainframe computers, mostly used siya ng mga programmers lang din talaga. So hindi siya kahit commercially being sold siya sa market nung time na to, hindi pa rin siya pwedeng bilhin ng normal lang na tao. Kailangan programmer ka, kailangan professional IT ka, kailangan talaga nag-work ka in the IT industry. Yun. In 1965, the introduction of mini computers produced by Digital Equipment Corporation or DEC. So ito, nagkaroon na ng advancement, nag-grow na yung industry, or nag-grow na yung industry ng IT, na discover nila na pwede nga palang gumawa ng mini version nito. 'Di ba? Ayan na, lumabas na si mini computer. So DEC mini computers, ito yung first first model PDP-11, and then later the VAX machine, offered powerful machines that at far lower prices than IBM mainframes, making possible decentralized computing, customized to the specific needs of individual departments or business units rather than time sharing on a single huge mainframe. So, yun. So, mas maliit siya, pero kaya niyang iserve yung purpose ng mainframe. So, mas ano nga siya, mas gumawa sila ng updated version nun para na rin sa convenience. Yun, naisip nila yun. Yun yung innovation nila doon. And then, in recent years, computer has evolved into a mid-range computer or mid-range server and is part of network. So, hindi pa rin siya na-obsolete kahit yung mainframes natin, kahit itong mini computers, hindi pa rin siya obsolete sa market. It's just that nag-incorporate lang siya doon sa existing natin or sa current trend ng ating computers or ng ating mga servers. Next topic, personal computers or PC era, which started from 1981 up to present. Itong PC, alam naman nating lahat na existing pa rin siya hanggang ngayon. So, nagagamit pa rin natin siya and nakikita pa rin natin siya sa everyday life natin. Like, for example, kapag nag-work tayo or kapag gumagawa tayo ng mga proposals sa company natin and then addendums, ganyan, ginagamit pa rin natin siya. Pero usually nga, nowadays, ang napapansin kong trend is more of the laptops na ang mga tao ngayon. But anyway, going back to the topic, PC, the personal computer era, which started from 1981 to present. In 1981, the appearance of IBM PC is considered the beginning of the PC era because this machine was the first to be widely adopted by American businesses. So, kung mapapansin niyo si IBM, mahilig silang magbigay ng innovations, mahilig silang mag-umpisa ng trend. So, sila yung unang-unang sila yung unang-unang company na nagpapapatent ng software nila or ng hardware nila. Yan. So, ito, Wintel PC computer or Windows operating system software on a computer with an Intel microprocessor. Hold on. Microprocessor became the standard desktop personal computer. Today, 95% of the world's estimated 1.5 billion computers use Wintel standard. So, ito yung Wintel, ito yung Intel na tinatawag natin ngayon. So, proliferation of PCs in the 1980s and 1990s launched a spate of personal desktop productivity software tools such as word processors, spreadsheets, electronic presentation software, and small data management programs. So, Wintel is parang si Windows din siya. So, sila yung nagpaumpisa nitong mga word processor, spreadsheets, PPTs, small data management programs, ganyan. Ito na yung mga ginagamit natin ngayon. Mas updated lang yung ginagamit natin recently because there are some changes, some updates that they have undergone through the years and through the decades that is beneficial to all of us. So, yun. So, since 1990s and 1980s, ginagamit na nila to improve their system management. So, that were very valuable to both home and corporate PC users. So, the PCs were standalone systems until PC operating system software in the 1990s made it possible to link them into networks. Yeah. Next topic is the client server era, which started from 1983 to present. So, ito hindi na siya nagfo-focus lang sa PC lang itself. Kasi yung PC itself is PC lang talaga siya. For typing lang talaga siya, paggawa lang talaga siya ng report, hindi siya connected sa network. So, kailangan mo pa siyang i-connect sa mga other networks. Parang ginagawan pa nila noon, nung time na yon, noong 1981, ng paraan paano siya i-connect sa network. Ngayon, ito naman, meron na tayong server. Meron tayong client-server era. So, dito na siya papasok. So, desktop and laptop computers called clients are networked to powerful server computers that provide the client computers with a variety of services and capabilities. So, hindi na siya nagiging stagnant lang for typing, for recording of data, ganyan. Nagiging na rin siyang, nagkakaroon na rin siya ng variations. Nagkakaroon na rin siya ng, nag-expand yung use niya nung mismong computer, nung mismong PC. Yan. Computer processing network is split between these two types of machines. One is the client, which is the user point entry, which is yun na nga, yung modem natin, yung yung model na ginagamit natin yung PC, yung pinagtatype natin, yan yung point of entry. Then servers typically processes, the server typically processes and stores shared data, serves up web pages, or manages network activities such as software application and the physical computer on which the network software runs. So, yun na nga, si server, siya yung nagde-link to everything. Nagde-link siya sa web page mo na ginawa, and then, doon sa mismong computer mo. Yan. So, yan. Ayan. The server could be a mainframe, but today, server computers typically are more powerful versions of the personal computers based on inexpensive chips and often using multiple processors in a single computer, box. So, as you know, yung server nga is siya ngayon nagko-connect sa computer natin and sa web, and para ma-access siya ng multi-users. So, mas powerful siya nowadays kasi server caters not just a small amount of data in the system, but most of all, lahat ng almost all, hindi siya most of all, almost all of the data ng company natin is naka server na. So, kapag nasira si server, wala na rin tayong data. Ganun. Ganun siya ka-importante and ganun siya ka-essential nowadays. So, there are two types of client-server architecture. There is the two-tiered client-server architecture and the multi-tiered or n-tiered client-server architectures. For the two-tiered client-server architecture, this is the simplest client-server network consists of a client computer network to a server computer with processing split between the two types of machines. So, itong two-tiered client or server architecture is mas simpler siya. Dalawa lang yung machine na kinokonektan niya, and mas simpler yung process niya compared kay multi-tiered. Kasi si multi-tiered is complex siya, meron siyang cobwebs, not just one, but not just two, but there are multiple devices na kinokonektan niya. So, multi-tiered, as defined, is simple client-server networks can be found in simple businesses. Most corporations have more complex, which the work of the entire network is balanced over several different levels of servers, depending on the kind of service being requested. So, in short, a multi-tiered n-tier client-server architecture is most commonly used by corporation kasi sa corporation, hindi lang siya isang unit yung gumagana, kundi multiple units yung gumagana. So as an illustration ng multi-tiered client-server networks is this one. So sa client server si client network is tayo, yung PC natin, and then magko-connect siya kay internet to process everything, to save all of it, to save your data, and then transfer it to our web server. So, once na-transfer siya kay web server, mapupunta naman siya kay application server, and then the sales production accounting HR can be or will be able to use the data from the server, from the application server, and then they will be able to generate the data itself. Tapos, pwede rin siyang bumalik, pwede siyang ma-retrieve ni client, ni PC, ganyan. Tapos, babalik lang din siya kay web server, ganyan. Mas komplikado siya compared kay single. Kay two-tiered. Kasi kay two-tiered, dalawa lang yan. Kay internet, and then kay web server lang siya. Nakasave lang siya sa system natin. And then, pwede ka na mag-generate ng data. Ganyan. So, we have two types of server application software. First is the web server, and then second is application server. Web server responsible for locating and managing stored web pages. Yan, tatanda natin yan, yung location and yung management ng web pages natin. Si web server yung nagmamanage yan. Application server, ito naman yung nag-handle ng all applications ng operations between user and organization's back-end business systems. So, sila din yung nag-authenticate kapag meron nang hihingi ng access doon sa system or doon sa server mismo ng system mo. Yan, sila rin yung nag-authenticate nun. Sila yung nagbibigay ng access, sila yung nag-check kung liable ba yon or kung authorized ba yung taong nag-access ng server mo. And then the application server may reside on the same computer as web server or on its own dedicated computer. So, pwede siyang standalone, pwede rin siyang kasama ni web server. Yan. Client-server computing enables businesses to distribute computing work across a series of smaller, inexpensive machines that cost much less than microcomputers or centralized mainframe systems. The result is an explosion in computing power and applications throughout the firm. Novel Netware is a leading technology for client-server networking at the beginning of the client-server era. Today, meron na tayong tinatawag na Microsoft, which is the market leader with its Windows operating systems. Yan na yung ginagamit natin currently now, yung mga Windows Server, Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 11, yan. Sila yung nagkikater nun. Next topic is Enterprise Computing Era, which started from 1992 to present. In the early 1990s, business firms began seriously using the Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol, in short TCP or IP networking standard, to tie their disparate networks together. So, dito sa era na to is nagkakaroon na ng standardization kung paano gagamitin yung mga systems, yung mga server, internet, mga ganyan. The resulting IT infrastructure links different pieces of computer hardwares and smaller networks into an enterprise-wide network so that information can flow freely across the organization and between the firm and other organizations. It can link different types of computer hardware including mainframe servers, PCs, mobile phones, and other handheld devices, and it includes public infrastructures such as the telephone system, the internet, and public network services. So, using IP address or yung internet protocols natin, mas nagiging concise, um, mas mas napadali nila yung proseso ng kung paano magfo-flow yung data sa server, kung paano siya mag-work sa system natin in a more efficient way. So, the enterprise infrastructure also requires software to link disparate applications and enable data to flow freely among different parts of the business such as enterprise application and web services. Yeah. Next topic is technology drivers of infrastructure evolution. So what are these? First is Moore's law and microprocessing power. So in 1965, Gordon Moore wrote in Electronic Magazine that since the first microprocessor chip was introduced in 1959, the number of components on a chip with the smallest manufacturing cost per component, generally transistors, had doubled each year. So, ito yung theory niya. So, this assertion became the foundation of Moore's law. Moore later reduced the rate of growth to a doubling every year, every 2 years. Yan. There are at least 3 variations of Moore's law. Itong variations na to, didiscuss pa natin to sa later chapters na madarating. Pero ito, pahapyaw pa lang to. So, first is the power of microprocessors doubles every 18 months. Computing power doubles every 18 months. And lastly is the price of computing falls by half every 18 months. So, as an example, ito siya. Ayan. Ito yung illustration kung paano yung naging work or kung paano nag-work yung Moore's law and microprocessor performance. Yan siya. Ayan. In figure 5-4, it illustrates the relationship between the number of transistors on a microprocessor and the millions of instructions per second or MIPS, a common measure of processor power. And in figure 5-5 shows the exponential decline in the cost of transistors and rise in computing power. In 2010, for instance, the Intel 8-core Xenon processor contains 2.3 billion transistors. This exponential growth in the number of transistors and the power processors coupled with an exponential decline in computing costs is is likely to continue. Chip manufacturers continue to miniature components. Today's transistors should no longer be compared to the size of a human hair, but rather the size of a virus. So, paliit ng paliit yung transistors natin. Kasi di ba before, ang ginagamit natin is yung mga malalaking gamit. Malalaking mainframes. So, yung chips noon sa loob is malaki rin. Siyempre, mga ganyan yung kalalaki or even bigger than that. Kasi nga, to cater yung pinakamalaki or to cater yung mga malalaking data natin sa system natin. So, ngayon, as time goes by, nag-generate siya ng mga bagong innovations, nag-improve yung technology natin. Ngayon, gumagamit na sila ng sobrang microprocessors or yung mga microchips na tinatawag natin. Sobrang liit. Yan. Pero kaya niya mag-store ng data na same size nung kaya i-cater nung mga malalaking chips na ginagamit natin before. Yan. So, ito yung illustration niya. Ay, bakit wala? Illustration niya, yung falling cost of chips. Yan. So, in 1965, sobrang taas niya. And then, later on, bumaba siya. Nag-isang 1 million na lang. Yan. Yan. Nanotechnology uses individual atoms and molecules to create computer chips and other devices that are thousands of times smaller than current technologies permit. Chip manufacturers are trying to develop a manufacturing process that could produce nanotube processors economically. IBM has just started making microprocessors in a production setting using this technology. So, si IBM again, sila yung pioneer to make nanotechnologies. Yung mga nanotechnologies, yan yung mga sobrang liliit na mga technology, mga chips na nilalagay dun sa mga systems para ma-help ma-boost yung system's performance. Next up is the law of mass digital storage. So, ito na yun yung mga, yung mga malalaking storage pero maliliit lang yung chips. So, the second technology driver of IT infrastructure change is the law of mass digital storage. The world produces as much as 5 exabytes of unique information per year. The amount of digital information is roughly doubling every year. Fortunately, the cost of storing digital information is falling at an exponential rate of 100% a year. So, yan. Ito, dito, nagkakaroon na ng mas cheaper value ng storage, pero yung capacity niya is kaya ding i-sustain yung mga previous pa na uh, na higher rate before, pero ngayon mas naging cheaper siya, pero mas kaya niya nang i-cater yung bigger data. So yan. In figure 5-7 shows the number of kilobytes that can be stored on magnetic media for $1. For $1 from 1950 to the present roughly doubled every 15 months. So since the first magnetic storage device was used in 1955, the cost of storing a kilobyte of data has fallen exponentially, doubling the amount of digital storage for each dollar expended every 15 months on an average. So, yun. So, nagkakaroon ng changes every 15 months, nagdo-double siya, or pwede rin, nagdo-double siya every 15 months. So, as an illustration, ito siya. Ito siya. Ito yung, ito yung rate niya. Yan. As an illustration, ito siya. Next topic is Metcalfe's law and network economics. So the economics of networks and the growth of internet provides some answers. Robert Metcalfe or Metcalfe, the inventor of Ethernet local area network technology, claimed that in 1970 the value or power of a network grows exponentially as a function of the number of network members. Metcalfe and others point to the increasing returns to scale that network members receive as more and more people join the network. As the number of members in a network grows linearly, the value of the entire system grows exponentially and continues to grow forever as members increase. Demand of information technology has been driven by social and business value of digital networks, which rapidly multiply the number and actual and potential links among network members. Yan. Yan. Next topic is the declining communications cost and the internet. Kasi 'di ba, as ever since na-develop yung internet is nagkaroon tayo ng uh, mas mas vast way to communicate with others in expense of yung current na mga landlines, ganyan. Kasi before, more of landlines, pagers, ano pa ba, text messaging, calls, ganyan. So, since with the use of internet, mas na-maximize na natin kung paano tayo makakakonect sa other people without without using the landlines, ganyan. Yan. So, kaya nagkaroon ng declining communications cost. Kasi nga, na-develop sa internet. Yun, na-develop din yung means of communicating with others. Kasi pwede na tayo mag-messenger, pwede na tayo mag-telegram, pwede na tayo ano nga yun? Mag-Viber, ganyan, WhatsApp, mga ganun. So, yan. In declining communications cost in internet and the internet, this is the fourth driver transforming IT infrastructure. An estimated 1.8 billion people worldwide now have internet access. Internet World Stats stated last 2010. In Figure 5-8 illustrates the exponential declining cost of communication both over the internet, over both over the internet and over telephone networks. As communication costs fall toward a very small number and approach zero, utilization of communication and computing facilities explodes. Yan. So like what I've mentioned earlier, mas naging vast yung way of communicating natin or communication natin with the use of internet. That's why maraming hindi na nagki-cater or marami nang hindi gumagamit ng landlines, hindi na gumagamit ng cellphone madalas. More of yung cellphone is more of messaging through messengers, Viber, WhatsApp, Kakao, mga ganyan. Telegrams, yon. So to take advantage of the business value associated with the internet, firms must greatly expand their internet connections, including wireless connectivity, and greatly expand the power of their client server networks, desktop clients, and mobile computing devices. So with these changes, changes and updates in the system, in the society, in the business din, yung mga businesses, napilitan silang mag-upgrade ng kung paano nila ma-reach out yung mga clients nila, paano sila makaka-boost ng sales nila by the use of by maximizing the internet itself. Not just the paper advertising, not just ayan, by the use of multimedia. Yan. So here's an illustration of how the how the decline in internet communication cost affects per year. Yan. So in 1995, mas marami yung gumagamit ng communication, mas na-maximize nila yung mga communication outlets, ganyan. And then as years goes by, mas marami yung nagde-decline siya, marami yung hindi na gumagamit ng telepono. More of internet na talaga sila. Yun nga, yung mga multimedia, ganyan. Messaging apps. The next is standards and network effects. Yan. Technology standards are specifications that establish the compatibility of products and the ability to communicate in a network as per Stango, as stated by Stango in 2004. Technology standards unleash powerful economies of scale and result in price declines as manufacturers focus on the products built at a single standard. So in table 5-1 describes important standards that have shaped IT infrastructure. So papakita ko yun sa inyo later. So in the beginning of 1990s, corporations started moving towards standard computing and communication platforms. In Wintel, the Wintel PC with the Windows operating system and Microsoft Office desktop productivity applications become the standard desktop and mobile client computing platforms. Widespread adoption of Unix as the enterprise server operating system of choice made possible the replacement of proprietary and expensive mainframe infrastructures. The telecommunications and Ethernet standard enabled PCs to connect together in small local area networks such as in short LANs, and the TCP/IP standard enabled the LANs to be connected into firm-wide networks and ultimately to the internet. So yon. Um, Dito, nagkaroon na, in the early 1990s, nagsa-start na silang i-maximize yung standard, ginagawa na nila ng standard yung processing natin and kung paano natin i-handle yung mga data natin para hindi rin naliligaw yung mga data natin and para to avoid na rin yung mga breaches sa system. Yan. So, itong mga itong Wintel PC, yung Windows and Microsoft Office Desktop, Unix, Ether standard, and TCP/IP standards. Yan yung mga fina-follow nila and yun yung mga ginagamit talaga nowadays. Yun yung mga parang kumbaga best deals sa innovations na nangyari during this time. So, yan. Ito siya, ito yung table 5-1. Yan yung mga standards per mainframe or per tawag dito, per process. Yan. Next is IT infrastructure components. Yan siya. Ito yung diagram. So, for example, ito siya. Yan. So, we have computer hardware platforms, operating systems platforms, enterprise software platforms, applications, applications, networking telecommunications, consultants and system integrators, data management and storage, and lastly, internet platforms. So first is computer hardware platforms. The server market uses mostly Intel and AMD processors in the form of blade servers and racks, but also includes Sun SPARC microprocessors and IBM power chips specially designed for server use. Blade servers are ultra-thin computers consisting of a circuit board with processors, memory, and network connections that are stored in racks. They take up less space than traditional box-based servers. Secondary storage may be provided by a hard drive in each blade server or by external mass storage drivers. Yan. The marketplace for computer hardware has increasingly become concentrated in top firms such as IBM, HP, Dell, and Sun Microsystems, acquired by Oracle. So, nowadays, na siya, yung Sun Microsystem, hindi na siya Sun Microsystem, but they are part of Oracle na. Inabsorb na nila siya. So, the three chip producers are Intel, AMD, and IBM. Yan. So, lagi nyo nakikita si IBM. Sila talaga yung isa sa mga pioneers na gumagawa ng mga innovations na ganito. Mga nag-research for that. Yan. The industry has collectively settled on Intel as standard processor with major exceptions in the server market for Unix and Linux machines, which might use Sun and IBM Unix processors. So, as you can see, mostly ng mga processors ng mga laptops natin, ng mga computers natin is all powered by Intel. Intel. Yan. Yan yung mga standard na mga kinakabit sa mga natin, sa mga computers natin, laptops, and then iba naman dun sa, meron namang iba yung ginagamit. Siguro yun yung mga high processors na. Yan yung mga ginagamit nila is yung mga Unix and Linux. Yung mga Sun or IBM Unix processors. The mainframe market has grown steadily over the last decade, although the number of providers has dwindled to one, IBM. So, yon. IBM has also repurposed its mainframe systems so they can be used as giant servers for massive enterprise. Wait lang. For massive enterprise network and corporation website. Corporate websites, rather. A single IBM, a single IBM mainframe can run up to 17,000 instances of Linux or web or Windows Server software and can replace thousands of smaller blade servers. Yun. So, mas high-powered na yung mainframes ni IBM ngayon kasi nga, mas na-update niya na. Siya na lang yung mag-isang nagpo-provide nung server, nung mainframe na yon. So, mas na-update niya na, mas nakapag-centralize siya doon, mas nabigyan niya ng focus yung updates doon sa system or doon sa mainframe na ginagawa niya. Kaya mas na-empower niya or mas nabibigyan niya ng um, support yung processor na kinakabit sa kanya. Yun, mas nagiging powerful siya in short. Next topic is the operating system platforms. In 2010, Microsoft Windows comprised about 75% of the server operating system markets, with 25% of corporate servers using some form of the Unix operating system or Linux, an inexpensive or robust open source relative of Unix. So Microsoft Windows Server can provide enterprise-wide operating system and network services and appeals to organizations seeking Windows-based IT infrastructure. So in 2010, mas naging widely used si Microsoft Windows compared to other servers, no? So kasi mas friendly nga naman ayun yung hindi siya tama, mas friendly siya kasi doon tayo sanay na gamitin siya. Pero meron din namang ibang other server like yung iOS, yung mga ganyan, yung mga Mac, ganyan. Yun. So, Unix and Linux are scalable, reliable, and much less expensive than mainframe operating systems. So, yun. Yan, yung widely use of Unix and Linux is naging, rin dito, naging highlight din dito sa year na to, dito sa 2010. Ayan. They can also run on many different types of processors. Major providers of Unix operating systems are IBM, HP, Sun, each with slightly different and partially compatible version. Ayan. So, merong mga different na provider, pero meron lang silang mga konting tweak, ganyan. So, pili ka na lang kung sino yung mas compatible para sa system mo na ikakabit mo doon sa server mo. Doon sa processor mo. Yan. At the client level, 90% of PCs use some form of Microsoft Windows operating system such as Windows 7, Vista, and Windows XP to manage the resources and activities of the computer. So like what I've mentioned earlier, like what I've said, most commonly used in all other corporation or all other businesses, mas ginagamit nila si Microsoft Windows operating system kasi nga mas accessible siya, mas friendly, and Mas marami siyang variations. Yan. Ito na yung mga OS na sinasabi ko earlier. So, Google Chrome OS provides lightweight operating system for cloud computing using netbooks. Programs are not stored on the user's PC but are used over internet and accessed through Chrome web browsers. User data resides on servers across the internet. Dito na pumapasok yung mga Google Drives. Yan. Diyan natin, di ba yung kapag nag-access tayo ng Google Drives, tapos nagsisave tayo doon ng um, mga documents natin, ganyan. Regardless kung pabayaan natin siya doon or i-access natin siya elsewhere, makikita pa rin natin siya. Yun. Convenience-wise, eto, yan siya. Yan yung pinapromote niya. Microsoft has introduced the Windows Azure operating system for its cloud service and platform. Yan. Ito naman yung cloud service niya. Kung may iCloud, si iOS, si Apple, si Microsoft naman may Windows Azure siya. Yan yung cloud platform niya. Android is a mobile operating system developed by Android Incorporation, which purchased by Google. So, pag-aari siya ni Google. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo sa lahat ng Android is more of Google powered siya. And later, the Open Handset Alliance as a flexible upgradable mobile device platform. Yan. Conventional client operating system software, software is designed around the mouse and keyboard but increasingly becoming more natural and intuitive by using touch technology. Yan yung mga touch screen na ginagamit natin ngayon. So, iPhone OS, the operating system for the phenomenal popular Apple iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch features a multi-touch interface where users use their fingers to manipulate objects on the screen. So, yun na ngayon yung mga touch screen, ganyan. Then, the interactive session on technology explores the implications of using multi-touch to the computer. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung iba nating mga laptops is touch screen na rin siya. So, in-explore na rin siya nung other brands or nung other processors para mas ma-enhance yung mga devices natin. This is enterprise software. Enterprise software applications. The largest providers of enterprise application software are SAP and Oracle. So, yun. Alam naman natin yan. Pagmamanage ng mga software or ng mga database, ganyan, ng system natin, all in all, sa lahat ng businesses, is si SAP talaga yung first go-to and then si Oracle. Yan. Middleware software supplied by vendors such as Bea for achieving firm-wide integration by linking the firm's existing application systems. Yan. Microsoft is attempting to move into a lower ends of this market by focusing on small and medium-sized businesses that have not yet implemented enterprise applications. Next is data management and storage. Enterprise data management software is responsible for organizing and managing the firm's data so that they can be efficiently accessed and used. Yan. The leading database software providers are IBM, DB2, SQL for Microsoft, Oracle, Sybase, Adaptive Server Enterprise, which supply more than 90% of US database software marketplace. MySQL is a Linux open source relational database production na owned by Oracle Corporation. So nowadays, ang napapansin ko, sa amin kasi sa company namin, mostly ang ginagamit namin is Microsoft. So, ang server na ginagamit namin for this, for database, as a database server is yung SQL talaga. Then the physical data storage market is dominated by EMC Corporation, the largest scale system. Ayan. Largest scale system and a small for largest scale systems and a small number of PC hard disk manufacturers led by Seagate, Maxtor, and Western Digital. So, sa mga physical storage, pag mga malalaki, ang isa lang yung nagpo-produce nun, si EMC Corporation, and for a smaller number of PC hard disk, yung mga hard drives na mga maliliit, ganyan, sila Seagate, Maxtor, and Western Digital. Yan. Next, with the amount of new digital information in the world growing too rapidly, the market for digital data storage devices has been growing at more than 15% annually over the last 5 years. In addition to traditional disk arrays and tape libraries, large firms are turning to network-based storage technologies. Yan na yung lumalabas na yung mga data storage natin. I'm not very familiar with it, pero ang alam ko meron na yung mga cloud, ganyan. Yan. So, network-based siya. So, lahat halos ng mga data natin nowadays is sa company or sa corporation is ina-upload natin doon para yung retrieval niya kapag halimbawa nasira yung laptop mo, nasira yung PC mo, meron ka pa rin magagamit. Mababack mo siya and makukuha mo pa rin siya, mariretrieve mo pa rin siya soon, once na maayos yung device mo. The storage area networks or SANs connect multiple storage devices on a separate high-speed network dedicated to storage. SAN creates a large central pool of storage that can be rapidly accessed and shared by multiple servers. Next topic is network telecommunication platforms. Windows Server is predominantly used as a local area network operating system, followed by Linux and Unix. Large enterprise wide area networks primarily use some variant of Unix. Most local area networks naman, ang mas ginagamit nila is TCP or IP protocol suites as a standard. The leading network hardware provides Cisco. Yan, kung familiar kayo dito, yung para ma-access ninyo yung server ninyo kapag nasa bahay kayo, nag-work from home kayo, ito yung mga usual na ginagamit natin. Yung Cisco, Alcatel Lucent, Nortel, and Juniper Network. Telecommunications platforms are typically provided by telecommunications or telephone services companies that offer voice and data connectivity, wide area networks, wireless services, and internet access. Leading telecommunication services vendors are AT&T and Verizon. This market is exploding with new providers in cellular wireless, high-speed internet, and internet telephone services. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung merong mga local-local dun sa ninyo, sa company ninyo na mga devices, yung mga telephones doon, na merong local na nakakapag-connect siya, na kaya niya mag-transfer to one device, to your device, to another device, is mostly ang nagkikater nan is si AT&T. Sa amin, sa company namin, ang nagkikater sa amin is si AT&T. Yun yung nag-cater sa amin ng internet service and then as well as si landlines namin sa company. Internet platforms. Internet platforms overlap with the must relate and must relate to the firm's general networking infrastructure and hardware. and software platforms. Sorry. These are hardware, software, and management services that support the firm's website, including web hosting services, routers, and cabling and or wireless equipments. Yan. Ito na yung mga internet providers natin. Ito na yung mga local internet providers natin. Aside from AT&T, syempre kailangan pa rin natin mag-abide, magkukuha pa rin tayo ng extra service for internet providers natin locally just for backups. Then, a web hosting service maintains a large server or service or series of servers and provides pre-paying subscribers with space to maintain their websites. The internet revolution created a veritable explosions of server computers, with many firms collecting thousands of small servers to run their internet operations. Yan. Since then, there has been a steady and push towards server consolidation, reducing the number of server computers by increasing the size of power of each. So, ito na yon, yung nagkakaroon na tayo ng maximization ng internet platforms natin. So, minamaximize na natin yung cloud services, ganyan, para na rin lumiit na rin yung um, pag pag-invest natin sa ating mga mainframes, yung mga servers natin na physical. Kasi nga naman, yung mga physical na servers natin is mahirap siyang i-maintain. Minsan, kailangan sobrang lamig dun kailangan malamig yung storage niya kasi para hindi siya mag-overheat. Pero pag sobrang lamig naman niya, nagyayelo siya pag dinefrost mo, mababasa. So, madadamage yung server natin. So, dito, mas pinopromote niya na i-maximize natin yung cloud, i-maximize natin yung internet platforms para moving forward, mas ma-minimize natin yung paggamit ng physical servers. Yan. The major web software applications, development tools, and suites are supplied by Microsoft. Yan yung Microsoft Expression Web, SharePoint Designer, and the Microsoft .NET family of development tools. Oracle Sans Java, the most widely used tool for developing interactive web applications on both the server and the client sides. A host of independent software developers including Adobe and Real Media. Yan yung mga sample ng internet platforms na we can explore for additional server. Consulting and system integration services. So implementation of a new infrastructure requires significant changes in businesses, processes, and business processes and procedures, training, and education, and software integration. So, ang leading consulting firms natin dito ay Accenture, IBM Global Services, HP Enterprise Services, Infosys, and Wipro Technologies. Software integration means ensuring the new infrastructure works with the firm's older, so-called legacy systems, and ensuring the new elements of the infrastructure work with one another. The legacy systems, ito yung older transaction processing systems na existing na dun sa mainframes natin. So, ini-integrate lang siya, pinagsasama lang siya with the new software integration. With the software integration. With the new system. Next topic is the contemporary hardware platform. So, we have 7 hardware trends. Yan. we have emerging mobile digital platforms, grid computing, virtualization, cloud computing, green computing, um, high performance, high performance or power saving processors and automatic computing. Yan yung seven trends. So, ang i-discuss ko lang dito is until virtualization for my part. So, for the first trend, the emerging mobile digital platforms, ito na yung mga handheld phones. Yan. New mobile digital computing platforms have emerged as alternative to PC and larger computers. Cell phones and smartphones such as BlackBerry and iPhones have taken on many functions of handheld computers, including transmission of data, surfing the web, transmitting email and instant messaging, displaying digital content, and exchanging data with internal corporate system. The new mobile platform also includes small, low-cost, lightweight sub-notebooks such as I called netbooks. Yan. Optimizing for wireless communication and internet access. With core computing functions such as word processing, tablet computers such as the iPad, the digital ebook readers such as Amazon Kindle, with some web access capabilities. So, dito mas marami na nag-emerge na pwede nating pwede nating magamit as portable. Kumbaga portable or mas accessible siya, mas lightweight, kumbaga mas less hassle siyang bitbitin na um, na device compared sa PC or sa laptop, ganyan. Kasi nga, pwede na natin ma-maximize yung ating mga handheld phones, yung mga iPad, ganyan. Kasi nowadays, yung iPad, pwede mo nang gamitin as laptop, di ba? Installan mo lang siya ng keyboard or gamitan mo lang siya ng keyboard, ganyan. I-catered mo lang siya sa keyboard, then you're good to go. Pwede mo na siyang magamit as a laptop. Yan. In a few years, smartphones, netbooks, and tablet computers will be the primary means of accessing the internet, and with business computing moving increasingly from PC and desktop machines to these mobile devices. So, for sample 1, yan, yung sa General Motors, na, um, na-maximize na nila yung smartphones by using smartphone applications to monitor their vehicle sales, their sales, finance performance, manufacturing metrics, and project management status even if they are remotely doing their job. Like for example, nasa vacation sila, gusto lang nila i-check yung status ng ng project nila, ganyan. Magagamit na nila yung handheld phones nila. Then another sample is for medreps, ganyan. So gumagamit sila ng smartphones to access their Salesforce data for either CRM applications para makita naman nila yung sales data nila. Kung approved na ba yung proposal nila, ganyan, kung kamusta na ba yung status, kung ilan na ba yung commissions nila para ma-forecast nila kung magkano yung commissions na makukuha nila at the end of the month. Next is grid computing. Grid computing involves connecting geographically remote computers into a single network to create a virtual supercomputer by combining the computational power of all computers on the grid. It takes advantage of the fact that most computers use their central processing units on average only 25% of the time for the work they have been assigned, leaving these idle resources available for other processing tasks. Grid computing, grid computing was impossible until high-speed internet connections enabled firms to connect remote machines automatically and move enormous quantities of data. Yan. It requires software programs to control and allocate resources on the grid. First software is client software. It communicates with with a server software applications. Then mapupunta siya kay server software breaks the data and application code into chunks that are then parceled out to the grid's machine. And then lastly is the client machines perform their traditional tasks while running grid applications in the background. So, kumbaga, nagtitrickle down siya, yung mga software na yun. So, kailangan mag-function muna si client software, tapos magtitrickle down siya hanggang kay client machine. Yan. So, hanggang kay client machine. That way, mas magiging siyang systematized. Yun yung parang ginagawa ni grid computing. So, mag-systematize siya ng pag-flow ng information. Yan. The business case for using grid computation involves cost savings, speed computation, and agility, as noted in the chapter opening case. By running these applications on clustered servers or on a grid, it eliminated unused ano ba? Unused, unused computer resources, use existing resources more efficiently and reduce cost and power consumption. Since yun nga, nagtitrickle down siya, nagiging siyang systematized, mas napapabilis niya yung production ng ginagawa natin, yung system natin, kumbaga yung haywire na proseso natin is mas na-maximize siya, mas nagtitrickle down siya into one smooth system or one smooth process, and then mas nagiging efficient yung work natin, yung workflow natin. So, mas nare-reduce din niya, na-help niya ma-reduce yung costing and then yung power consumption natin sa production. Last is, the next topic is virtualization. This is the process of presenting a set of computing resources such as computing power or data storage so that they can all be accessed in ways that are not restricted by physical configuration or geographic location. It enables a single physical resource such as a server or storage device to appear to the user as multiple logical resources. It also enables multiple physical resources such as storage devices or servers to appear as a single logical resource, as would be the case with storage area networks or grid computing. So, virtualization is yun yung pag-virtualize or yung pag-enable sa'yo na ma-access mo yung data or yung data mo sa system on a remote basis, on a remote setup. Like, for example, hindi mo na kailangan i-access yung mismong physical server mo, but you can already access it on a cloud server. Yan, yun yung kagandahan sa kanya. Yun yung sinasabi niyang kagandahan or update doon sa recent server na ginagamit nowadays. So it makes it possible for company to handle its computer processing and storage using computing resources housed in remote locations. Like what I've said earlier, naka-remote siya. VMware is the leading virtual software vendors for Windows and Linux servers, and Microsoft offers its own virtual server product and has built virtualization sorry, excuse me, virtualization capabilities into newest version of Windows Server. So business benefits of virtualization, it helps uh, the organizations increase equipment virtualization rates, um, conserving data center space and energy usage. Yan. So kapag ano mo siya, na-enhance mo yung system mo into a virtual system or virtual server, mas na-maximize mo yung equipment mo, yung mga equipments mo. Kasi hindi mo na kailangan ng physical na server, kaya mo na siyang i-access through web or through cloud, ganyan. The higher the virtualization rates higher virtualization rates translate into fewer computers required to process the same amount of work. Yon. So, nasisimplify niya rin kapag virtualize siya, pag naka-virtualize yung system mo or yung server mo, mas nasisimplify niya yung work process mo, yung workflow mo, mas nagiging efficient siya, kumbaga. And then, virtualization allows businesses to run their legacy applications on older versions of an operating system on the same server as newer applications. Virtualization also facilitates centralization and consolidation of hardware administration. It is now possible for companies and individuals to perform all their computing work using a virtualized IT infrastructure as is the case with cloud computing. So yun nga, like what I've mentioned earlier, it's beneficial for all the businesses and for all the business structures um, to um, to have their to have their system or their servers be virtualized or be uploaded in the cloud kasi mas convenient siya kasi remote siya and mas accessible siya. Yan. So that would